Hey, what's up, people? Special shout out to Nikki. Yeah, the picture you see in front of you is a picture of a 17-month-old girl named Samya Bailey. Now, the title of this video is Black Men Shooting Children, and it's kind of ridiculous, man. This girl is 17 months old. She's with her mom's. I think her mom's her mother's boyfriend, and I think her mother's brother, her uncle. And apparently, the uncle or the mother's boyfriend, because as far as I know, the dude who shot was one of her exes. I don't know whether he had a beef with. They say he had a beef with the uncle. Then I also hear he had a beef with the father of the child. So I don't know, but wasn't him by himself. I think it was him. He was supposed to be 19 years old, and I think there was like a 24-year-old dude with him and some other dude, and they have some kind of beef. Homeboy takes out the gun, starts shooting, with no regard that there's a toddler right there. I'm saying that the bullet goes into one side of her face and goes out the other side. Didn't give her any brain damage because apparently it went across her face. And the picture you see above you, the eye, I believe the one that's covered up is the one that she's gonna lose. And she might lose the other eye too, and hopefully they'll be able to save her. She's only 17 months old, innocent. Now, what's killing me, right, is that the people who did all of this were ignorant, but it's kind of all our fault because this is our culture. I mean, this is black culture. We have a street thug, or what you call a prison culture, and it's all over America. It's not just like this happened in Staten Island. It's not just in the ghetto in Staten Island. It's not just in the ghetto in Manhattan, and it's not even not in the ghettos by themselves, because this culture, it goes up to the middle. When I talk about middle class, upper class, I'm talking about income groups, but this street thing, it gets into the middle class, gets into the upper classes. I mean, let's be real. I mean, if you see Jay-Z hanging out in the White House with President Obama, I mean, yeah, Jay-Z has mad money. Well, he's supposed to worth $200 million, but when you look at him, what you see a street dude hanging out in the White House, hanging out with President Obama, supposed to be like the upper echelon of, So, the street culture is all over. And it's been coming up, like when I was born in the 60s, came up in the 70s. I mean, I can't say like this just started happening. I'm not going to be one of those cats who's going to start blaming it on the younger generation, because my generation was bad. I mean, it was bad before my generation, but things have just gotten progressively worse. And when stuff like this happens, you hear about, you hear white racists saying that we're animals and we're this and that. And I'm just like, I don't think we're animals, but we out the fucking control. There's no question about that. I mean, this culture we have is kind of, I don't know whether we think we're Spartans, like we're warriors or something like that. I mean, as a man, I understand it benefits us because, look, if you out in the streets, you can make some money, you can get some respect on the streets. And on top of that, you can get some fine women, and they not all hood rats. You can get some good-looking middle class, upper class women. You can run through a good amount of women with the living the street life or the thug life, but in the long run, it doesn't benefit the black family. It definitely doesn't benefit the women, because when women get old, that's just it. They out. But I mean, even though it benefit, I mean, men who involve. I'm not really one of those cats. I'm not one of those cats who's out in the streets trying to do all stuff like that. But I mean, it benefits brothers in the fact that if they don't get shot or they don't get locked up, they they take, those are the chances they take, and then to be honest with you, getting locked up nowadays is like, it's almost like a rite of passage. It's like, you get locked up, you've arrived, and if you were doing your stuff right in the street, you got plenty of women coming up to see you, bringing your babies and all of that. And hey, even if you even got that much swag, you can even, there are plenty of stories of the dudes having sex with the female correction officers, and the women who work in the prisons too. So, the thug life has its attraction. The street life, dudes can benefit from it, no question. But for the overall group, for us to have it so ingrained, I mean, how many Cosby Show? I mean, you see the Cosby Show, but how many families you see living like that in real life is very few. And even if you do have a few families living like that, the families over around them, even in the same neighborhood, they got that street shit that's going in. I mean, there's plenty of good girls running around with bad guys. So that's what I'm saying. Even if it's like not ingrained in their family, it's going to be able to work its way into the family. But we, as black men, we may benefit from it. But I'm saying the one thing we can do, at least if we're gonna live this thug culture, at least make up some kind of rules of decency. I mean, look, I'm not out there doing this stuff, but if I was, I'd be like, look, if we got to beef with so and so, like, you know, if I'm a Crip and I see a blood walking through my territory, if he got a stroller with him, if he got a preteen kid, like a 5-year-old, like he barely can talk and all of that stuff, don't fire on him. You know, I'm saying, you know, don't do nothing to him. You know that kid is going to be his shield. Now, if some dude is doing that all the time, then you already know that that dude using that kid as a shield. Just like dudes can get a snitch label, you can label that dude a punk. Like, oh, that dude is just hiding behind that kid all the time. He's scared to do something. But dudes can like make one simple rule, like, look, if you see a dude with a toddler, don't open up on him. If you see him with a preteen kid, don't open up on him. I mean, I don't see what would be so hard about that if we're gonna insist on doing this whole thug life shit. I'm saying, hey, you might as well have some kind of rules of decency. I mean, I don't understand it. I really don't. Cause I see stuff like this, see the picture of that little girl right there, and I'm just like, you know, I'm saying I know that, you know, they'll say take the guns off the street. Take the guns off the street, dudes gonna start using knives. Or you know, you take knives off the street, dudes are gonna start using rocks. Dudes gonna find some way to make some kind of weapon. I mean, when dudes go into jail, they don't have. In fact, when dudes go into jail, they'll even start calling the shivs, and you know, the shanks they make up call them guns. Really, dudes will still find ways to get at each other. But so, you know, that's not really the problem. The problem is our culture. Our culture, you know, it promotes violence and it promotes extreme violence and it promotes violence over shit. A lot of this stuff is sometimes the stuff is over. It's not even worth all of that. You know, somebody says something to you, you don't like what they said, so you're gonna go shoot them. Or if you fight them and then you lose the fight, you're gonna go get the gun. Or even sometimes dudes will win fights and still go get a gun and shoot up the next cat. So, you know, I'm saying if this is how we're gonna be living, man, we got to figure something out, make up some rules or something. I mean, it would be nice if we just decide, look, this ain't working for us as a black community and overall, but it doesn't look like that's gonna happen. So if this is how we're gonna live, man, we got to figure something out, do something, at least do something differently because we just run around. I mean, even before this happened with the little girl, Labor Day weekend, it was like 24 shootings in 24 hours from I think from Saturday morning to like Sunday morning. That like 24 people got shot in 24 hours. And then even on Labor Day, some woman, one dude shot another dude and killed him. Then the cops came and shot the dude. Homeboy fell down, hit the ground. While he was on the ground, he dropped his gun. But he decided, being he was on the ground, and even though I think he was hit, he picked up the gun while he was on the ground and started shooting. He shot 2 cops, but then a lot of cops shooting her. I think a woman got shot, and they think the woman got hit by some bullets. And then the big deal about all that is that the woman got shot by a cop. And I'm just like, well, hey, those brothers hadn't been shooting it out in the first place. That woman would have never been shot. I mean, it's nice to be able to point the finger at the cops, but the fact is, the whole thing that's set that shit off is 2 black men, you know, shooting at each other over who knows what. But that's just part of our culture now. I mean, it's a sad thing to have to admit, but you know, we have a culture of violence. You know, the streets. You know, the street rules say you don't snitch, and if somebody diss you, you fuck them up, or you shoot them, or you stab them, or you do something, but you can't let them walk because people on the street are gonna say you a punk. That's almost, to me, that's some prison shit right there. That's some prison shit out on the streets. But that's how our culture is. I don't know, but this is what this has led to, man. I would say it can't keep going on like this, but it's been going on like this for a while. I mean, there are people who want to do like these stop the violence rallies and stop the violence and you know, anti-gun rallies. Those have been going on for so long, it's ridiculous. I'm like, you know, I haven't gone to any of those rallies, any marches in a while because they're all bullshit. Last rally I went to was a march for Sean Bell marching down Fifth Avenue, and you know, the result of that was what? All the cops who was involved in that got off scot-free. The cop who like let off 20 shots, he got off scot-free. In fact, they showed him eating at some high-end restaurant, I think, even before the decision was rendered. So he knew he was getting off. So, but anyway, I'm not trying to focus on the cops. I'm just trying to say that the marches and all of that stuff is not doing any good. I don't know. I can't even say. I mean, hey, the guys who are out there doing the gang banging, you know, hopefully they will hear this, or someone who knows them will hear this, and they'll put the bug in somebody else's ear, like, yo, at least let's make some kind of rule. If we're going to be doing this, make up some kind of rules where, rules of engagement where, we don't engage, homeboy with a toddler or with a baby carriage, just let him walk. We can catch him another time. At least do something like that. I mean, that's still crazy, but hey, at least you can do something like that. I mean, shooting up kids. I mean, if you letting off shots and there's a kid right there in the background, that's crazy. I mean, if dude, now usually dudes moving on, dudes got enough time to look around and look out for the cops, right? If you got enough time to look around and see if any cops coming, you got enough time to look around and see if there are any kids, any real innocent people might get really hurt by this. I mean, at least kids. I mean, I know a lot of dudes might say, oh, the girlfriend too. I'm like, nah, a lot of times the girlfriend is messing with a dude who's running around doing crazy stuff. She knows she's taking the chances. I'm not saying to get crazy with, but make up some kind of rule, or some kind of, some code of conduct or something, man, because dudes are just tripping. Looking at this little baby girl right here, you just know that's ridiculous. And no child should be looking like that, man, with her face all about to lose. I mean, she's about to grow up, man, and kids are going to be making fun of her saying she's the one-eyed girl or something like that. I don't know. But it's over something she ain't, she didn't ask to come into, she didn't ask to be, in the middle of any of that. Children are helpless. They're innocent and they're helpless. And, she just got caught up in some other people's nonsense. But in a way, it's all of our nonsense because that's our culture. That's just the way we live. But anyway, thanks for listening. Tell me what you think about it. Peace.